Hello everyone. Today we will see the topic IND, that is Investigational New Drug Application, NDA New Drug Application, and ANDA, that is Abbreviated New Drug Application. The Federal Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act, regulated through Title 21, that is 21 CFR. Before introduction into the market, a new drug needs to be approved by FDA. In India, a new drug may be approved as regulated by Schedule Y to the Rules of Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1940 and Rules 1945. For any drug, a new drug, to come in market, it needs to be first approved by the FDA. First we'll see the investigational new drug IND. It is defined under 21 CFR 312.3b as a new drug or biological drug that is used in clinical investigation. It means such that a new drug whose investigation or clinical investigation has to be studied, it comes under IND. The term also includes a biological product used in vitro for diagnostic purpose. After preclinical investigations, when the new molecule has been screened for pharmacological activity and acute toxicity potential in animals, then the sponsor requires permission from FDA for its clinical trials in human. The sponsor submits the application for conduct of human clinical trials called Investigational New Drug Application to FDA. Once IND application is submitted, the sponsor must wait for 30 days before initiating any clinical trial. Clinical trials in humans can begin only after IND is reviewed by the FDA and local institutional review board. IRBs approve clinical trial protocol, inform consent, permission to all the participants, and appropriate steps to prevent subject from harm. If the FDA accepts the IND request within 30 days of submission, clinical testing of new molecule on human may begin by the investigator. At this point, the drug molecule under the FDA legally which requires specific drug regulatory system. If at any time during clinical testing the data furnished to FDA indicate to be toxic under the criterion of FDA's benefit, so IND is a submission to the authority or agency, that is FDA, requesting permission to start a clinical study of a new drug product. A new drug may be a biologic drug or a device which needs to be approved before it can be transported to different places. If investigational new drug is approved, it means that it is a safety and efficacy drug. If it is granted for purpose of clinical investigation, it can be transported or imported from different places of the world. The investigational new drug application allows the company or holder to legally ship or transport an unapproved drug or import a new drug from other country. FDA or other regulatory authorities may keep the trial on hold if reasonable risk in the proposed assured safety is observed. Types of INDs. First is the commercial IND. Its name itself tells that what is the purpose of this IND. That the application that are submitted primarily by the company to obtain marketing approval for a new drug. To obtain a marketing approval means to make money or to commercialize the product. One for which the sponsor intends to commercialize the product by eventually submitting a marketing application. Means the sponsor who needs to investigate intends to commercialize means जो ऐसा प्रोडक्ट जो हमारा मार्केट में जा सकता है, नया प्रोडक्ट जो मार्केट में जा सकता है और उससे हम लोग कुछ पैसे कमा सकते हैं. Okay, FDA may also designate as IND as commercial if it is clear that the sponsor intends for the product to be commercialized at a later date. Second is non-commercial INDs. These INDs are filed for non-commercial research. Then again, in non-commercial research, first is investigator's IND. It is submitted by a physician who both initiates and conducts an investigation and who also administers and dispenses the IP. इसका मतलब ऐसा होता है कि जो भी इन्वेस्टिगेटर ड्रग है वो फर्स्ट इन्वेस्टिगेटर के पास जाता है. मीन्स जो भी अभी कोई नया प्रोडक्ट या नया ड्रग बना है उसकी सबसे ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन किसको होती है? अपने डॉक्टर्स को, फिजिशियंस को, हेल्थ कंसल्टेंट्स को. ओके, तो उनके पास जाने के बाद ये इन्वेस्टिगेशन स्टार्ट होता है. डॉक्टर्स उसको यूज़ करते हैं और वही बताते हैं कि इसका रिज़ल्ट कैसा होगा और कैसा है और कैसा रहेगा. सेकेंड इज़ इमरजेंसी यूज़ IND. इमरजेंसी यूज़ IND मीन्स कोई ड्रग जिसका ऑलरेडी रिसर्च चल रहा है और उसका अप्रूवल नहीं हुआ है, लेकिन उसके रिसर्च में पता चल रहा है कि उसका रिजल्ट्स जो है दैट इज़ सेफ्टी एंड एफिकेसी. जैसे अभी कोविड-19 में क्या हुआ था कि जब कोविड-19 आया था तब रेमडेसिविर इंजेक्शन जो है उसकी स्टडी जस्ट स्टार्ट हुई थी और उसकी स्टडीज़ पूरी भी नहीं हुई थी. सिर्फ सेफ्टी और एफिकेसी पे ही इन्होंने रेमडेसिविर मार्केट में लॉन्च कर दिया था. ओके, इट इज़ यूज़ ऑफ एन एक्सपेरिमेंटल ड्रग इन एन इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन. It allows not only submission of an IND in accordance with 21 CFR section 312.23 or 312.34. It used for patients who do not meet the criteria of an existing study protocol or if an approved study protocol does not exist. Treatment IND, expanded access IND, submitted for experimental drugs, shows promise in clinical testing of serious and immediately life थ्रेटनिंग कंडीशंस. जैसे अभी कोई ड्रग्स हैं जिसमें मीन्स जो लाइफ थ्रेटनिंग डिजीज़ है, जो द डिजीज़ विच आर डेंजरस और लाइफ टेकिंग डिजीज़, जैसे एड्स है. एड्स में क्या होता है कि एड्स के लिए ज़ीरोविडिन जो ड्रग है, उस ब्रांड नेम इज़ रेट्रोवीर. अगर कोई पेशेंट जिसको एड्स है, हम लोग उसको कंटिन्यूसली ज़ीरोविडिन या रेट्रोवीर दे रहे हैं, अगर उसका इम्यूनिटी जो है वो रेजिस्टेंस हो जाता है, तो फिर उसके लिए और एक हम लोग को नया ड्रग चाहिए. तो ओके, तो जैसे वाइडेक्स आया था, जिसमें जिस लोगों को ज़ीरोविडिन का टॉलरेंस बता रहा था, उसके लिए FDA ने अप्रूवल किया था कि उसके लिए पेशेंट्स के लिए वाइडेक्स यूज़ कर सकते हैं. ओके, जो एड्स में यूज़ होता है. The IND application must contain information in 3 broad areas: studies of animal pharmacology and toxicology, preclinical data to assess if the product is reasonably safe for initial testing in humans. Manufacturing information pertaining to composition, manufacturer, stability and controls used for manufacturing drug product. To ensure that the company can adequately produce and supply consistent batches of the drug. Clinical protocol and investigator information on the qualifications of the investigators if they fulfill their clinical duties. Finally, from all research subjects, the commitment is obtained for review of the study by an IRB, Investigational Review Board, and to adhere to the investigational new drug regulations. An IND must also include in the investigator's brochure. This is the IND chart. If any applicant or a sponsor files the IND, after filing the IND, the CDER committee reviews the application. Several committees, which are medical team, chemistry, pharmacology or toxicology department, statistical department, they all review the application. After review of application, they come to safety review. If the safety reviews or the application which is given is a safety and efficacy drug to humans, it is acceptable and they are approved for the further studies. If they are approved, then complete review is done. If they are not approved, then clinical hold decision. If the application is hold, then the matter should be known to the sponsor. Then the sponsor discusses with the team, and again new data is given along with the application. After the complete review is done, if there are no deficiencies or there are no queries, then study is proceeded. Okay. Criteria for IND application. A clinical study is required for an IND if it is intended to support. क्लिनिकल स्टडी फॉर IND मीन्स कोई भी इन्वेस्टिगेशन करने के लिए क्लिनिकल स्टडी इम्पॉर्टेंट रहता है. It supports the new indication or suggestion, change in the approved route of administration or dosage level. अभी हम लोग IND कब कर सकते हैं एप्लीकेशन? अगर कोई न्यू सिम्टम्स आया है, न्यू इंडिकेशंस आया है, न्यू सजेशंस आया है अप्रूव्ड न्यू ड्रग में, तब हम लोग IND फाइल कर सकते हैं. अगर चेंज इन अप्रूव रूट ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन अगर चेंज हो रहा है तभी हम लोग IND कर सकते हैं. चेंज इन द अप्रूव पेशेंट पॉपुलेशन, that is vulnerable subjects, example pediatrics, elderly, HIV positive, immunocompressed. इस सिचुएशन में भी हम लोग IND फाइल कर सकते हैं. सिग्निफिकेंट चेंज इन द प्रमोशन ऑफ एन अप्रूव्ड ड्रग. कोड ऑफ फेडरल रेगुलेशन CFR, ये हम लोग ने ऑलरेडी प्रीवियस टॉपिक में पढ़ लिया था. ओके. फॉर्मेट एंड कंटेंट ऑफ IND फाइलिंग के वक्त उसमें क्या क्या रहता है? फर्स्ट इज़ कवर शीट, उसके बाद आता है टेबल ऑफ कंटेंट्स, इंट्रोडक्टरी स्टेटमेंट एंड जनरल इन्वेस्टिगेशनल प्लान, इन्वेस्टिगेटर्स ब्राउचर, प्रोटोकॉल्स, CMC इंफॉर्मेशन, फार्माकोलॉजी एंड टॉक्सिकोलॉजी इंफॉर्मेशन, प्रीवियस ह्यूमन एक्सपीरियंस विद IP, एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन. विड्रॉल ऑफ एन IND. विड्रॉल ऑफ एन IND मीन्स अगर कोई हमने IND फाइल किया है, एप्लीकेशन दिया है FDA में और उसको हम लोग को विड्रॉ करना है, मीन्स कैंसिल करना है या लिक्विडेट करना है, कि हम लोग का कुछ डिसीज़न आता है कि हम लोग को फर्दर स्टडीज़ प्रोसीड नहीं करना है, तो उस केस में क्या होता है कि स्पॉन्सर ऑब्वियसली जो पैसा लगाता है वही डिसीज़न लेगा. सो स्पॉन्सर जो रहता है उस डिसाइड करता है कि आगे जाना है या नहीं जाना है. सो अगर स्पॉन्सर नहीं चाहता है कि हमें विड्रॉ करना है तो स्पॉन्सर विड्रॉ ले लेते हैं. विड्रॉ लेते वक्त FDA और रिव्यू टीम जो है उनको नोटिफाई करना होता है विद प्रॉपर रीज़न एंड जस्टिफिकेशंस कि हम लोग क्यों नहीं करना चाहते हैं और क्यों कर रहे हैं. IND process in India. IND has been defined under Rule 122 DA3 of Drug and Cosmetic Rules 1945 as a chemical entity having therapeutic indication but which have never been earlier tested on humans. इसमें क्या रहता है कि जो कोई भी ड्रग है या कोई भी एक्टिव फार्मास्यूटिकल इंग्रेडिएंट है जो थेरापेटिक इंडिकेशंस दे रहा है, बट उसका जो भी रिजल्ट्स है या उसका टेस्टिंग है वो हमने ह्यूमंस में नहीं किया है. ओके. नो क्लिनिकल ट्रायल फॉर न्यू ड्रग फॉर एनी पर्पज बी कंडक्टेड विदाउट परमिशन इन राइटिंग ऑफ द लाइसेंसिंग अथॉरिटी DCGI. कोई भी क्लिनिकल ट्रायल अगर कंडक्ट करना है न्यू ड्रग का, तो वो विदाउट परमिशन ऑफ लाइसेंसिंग अथॉरिटी जो है DCGI, उसके परमिशन के बिना हम लोग ट्रायल्स नहीं कर सकते। एप्लीकेशन फॉर कंडक्टिंग क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स in India require submission by the sponsor on Form 44 along with requisite fee rupees 50,000 and documents as provided under the Schedule Y to Drug and Cosmetic Act. हम लोग को डाटा क्या क्या सबमिट करना है? फॉर्म 44 फाइलिंग करते वक्त फॉर्म 44 क्या है कि जो स्पॉन्सर रहता है उनके लिए रहता है कि वो लोग जो भी न्यू ड्रग है वो स्पॉन्सर कर रहे हैं, और उनको फॉर्म के साथ एप्लीकेशन ऑन फॉर्म 44 इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ द ड्रग 50,000 fee with challan, chemical and pharmaceutical information, animal pharmacology, animal toxicology, human or clinical pharmacology, regulatory status in other countries. It takes 4 to 6 months for approval, but it is not documented. जब भी हम लोग कोई IND फाइल करते हैं तो उसको 4 to 6 months लगते हैं. The ethical committee also requires 1 to 3 months time. Thus, it almost takes 7 to 9 months for approval of IND from DCGI. For international applicants, import license to import IP samples and permission from Director General Foreign Trade to export blood sample is also needed. कोई भी इंटरनेशनल एप्लीकेंट्स अगर रहता है उनको इंपोर्ट लाइसेंस, जो भी सैम्पल्स इंपोर्ट करने होते हैं तो उनको इंपोर्ट सैम्पल्स लगता है, और परमिशन फ्रॉम DDFT का परमिशन लगता है टू एक्सपोर्ट ब्लड सैम्पल्स. ओके, आफ्टर IND we will go through NDA, New Drug Application. It is the vehicle through which the drug sponsors formally propose FDA or DCGI to approve a new investigational drug for sale and marketing after phase 3. The official definition of new drug is in section 201P of Federal Drug, Food and Cosmetic Acts. That is, any new drug, the composition of which is such that it is recognized among experts qualified by scientific training as safe and effective for use under prescribed, recommended or suggested condition. Or any drug, the composition of which is such that it is a result of investigations to determine safety and efficacy for use has become recognized, but which has not otherwise in such investigations been used to a material extent. The following letter codes describe the review priority of the drug. S for standard review for drugs similar to currently available drugs, and P for priority review, that is advances over existing treatments. Classification of drugs in NDA. They are classified as follows: new molecular entity, new salt of previously approved drug, new formulation of previously approved drug, new combination of 2 or more drugs, already marketed drug product, duplication, that is new manufacturer, new indication for already marketed drug product. In US, following 4 applications are submitted for approval. That is NDA, BLA, that is Biological License Application, Paper NDA, and SNDA, Supplemental New Drug Application. Format and content of NDA. The application is required to be submitted in common technical document format with following sections: FDA form, user fee cover sheet, cover letter, summary, chemistry manufacturing and control, sample, method validation package, and labeling. Non-clinical pharmacology, toxicology, human pharmacokinetic and bioavailability, microbiology, statistical method and analysis, safety update report, statement regarding compliance to IRB, and informed consent requirements, case report tabulation, case report forms, patent information and certification, and other information. General requirements for filing NDA. The person filing NDA needs 2 copies. One is an archival copy and another is an review copy. An archival copy is an permanent record, and a review copy, it is divided in 6 technical sections: CMC, that is chemistry, manufacturing and controls, non-clinical pharmacology and toxicology, human pharmacokinetics and bioavailability, microbiology if it is required, clinical data, and statistical data. On receipt of NDA, the CDE are stamped with the received data to enable FDA to forward action within 180 days, called review clock. Under review time frames, the FDA assigns the application for review. The FDA has to intimate the applicant if it is complete within 60 days. According to filing time frames, FDA notifies the sponsor of its completion or incompletion, and if complete, sends it for secondary review process. FDA inspects the manufacturing facilities of the drug. It may also inspect sample of clinical trials location to verify the accuracy of data submitted. This is an NDA chart. Next is permission to manufacture a new drug. Brief introduction of new drug, chemical and pharmacological information, animal pharmacology and toxicology, human or clinical pharmacology, that is phase 1, 2, 3, then stability study data, regulatory status in other countries, application for test license, marketing information. Okay, thank you students. This much for today.